Malcontents, here's the Malcontentant. How is everybody doing? I'm doing we're using a different app tonight. And so hopefully the stream is working. Hey, the stream is working. The reason I've switched kind of streaming apps is we've had a lot of people that are using the feed, including people that are using the feed out of context. And I am now spending literally hours in copyright dispute and DCMA takedowns. And so I've just bit the bullet. So that's why we have that stuff on there. And I get it, they can crop it, but it just creates extra work to crop the image and all. So, and some people are a lot of people are inherently lazy, especially people that are stealing other people's content. So we're gonna go switch the camera around, and what I want to show you is the terrible, horrible destruction, the awfulness that is Cal Anderson Park in Seattle. Why, yes, if you have been watching Fox News or any of the other kind of far-right media, you have been told how Seattle is in flames and anarchists are in control. And so we are here at Cal Anderson Park, which was formerly CHOP, which was this area that there was a major police action that we'll get into a little bit later today. And as you can see, here are your terrible anarchist world. Here is Antifa for all you to see. They are out here enjoying a evening here in Seattle. And if I am to believe Fox News, people in Antifa are very fond of sitting on the field in socially distanced groups and talking and playing soccer. It looks very, very dangerous to me. I think these people just might go crazy at any second. You could use that video if you want, Jason Rants. You could use that. You can go ahead and crop that if you want. Jason Rants, by the way, guy in the mainstream media, no less, who should know better, used our stuff without copyright. Come on, Jason, seriously, you're like a friggin' broadcast. You want pictures, you want images, come down here and get it yourself or reach out to me. Don't steal my IP. So, and I'm not, yes, it's not maybe a very objective statement, but it's not very objective of the right-wing media or the White House to kind of go, look at Seattle, it's in flames. I mean, again, I am at ground zero. This is ground zero. No, it's not. Yes, it is. This is Cal Anderson Park. This was the heart of CHOP. So let me explain while you see all of the horrors that is Seattle here in the view. Let me explain to you, give a little backstory of what happened today. So behind me, and what we're going to go to what is behind me here a minute ago, is what's called the Cal Anderson Shelter. The best way to describe it is that imagine the smallest church hall that you could think of. And that's kind of what it's like inside. So you have like a room, and when I don't mean like the church where you go and worship. I mean like the church hall where you go afterwards to have the coffee and the cookies. That's the part I mean. And it's like, think of the smallest church hall you could ever imagine. So it's an A-frame ceiling, open ceiling, just like a little church hall. It's maybe 20 by 20, maybe. And then there's a little kitchen that's attached to it. And I stress kitchen, it's got like just 2 burners and 2 electric burners and a little refrigerator and some cabinets. And then there's like a storage closet, just like a church hall. What's been happening is that homeless advocates have been setting up over here to support the Unhomed in Seattle. Well, why are homeless advocates doing that? The city of Seattle and King County, according to the Puget Sound Business Journal, spends about $1 billion a year, that's with a B, on homeless initiatives. That comes out to about $85,000 for every homeless person in the area. Now, you're probably, like, your brain is probably just melted regardless of your politics on those numbers. And again, you can look it up yourself, 2017 Puget Sound Business Journal, and the amount of spending has only gone up since 2017. And that wasn't a 1 year. That was like a steady over the previous 7 years that they did that. $85,000. I know what you're thinking if you are a rational individual. Why is anybody homeless in Seattle if they're spending $85,000 a year per homeless person? Exactly. Why should there be homeless advocates out here? Because they're not doing anything. And this is a failure of the city council, this is a failure of the mayor, and this is a failure of previous city councils and previous mayors, and it's a failure of Dal Constantine, who has been the county executive here for King County for quite some time now. Private organizations that have been supporting the homeless, they've been getting very rich off of this. There have been multiple boondoggles like the Licton Springs Tiny House Project, which ended in disaster. I don't know if it was King County or City of Seattle. They bought a bunch of basically portable trailers, tiny trailers. They're sitting in the Soto region of Seattle, unused. They were like, hey, maybe we'll use them to put COVID patients in or people that need to isolate. They were never used. They're still sitting down there unused. And Jenny Durkin recently made another hollow promise of, oh, we're going to dedicate this money. She ran on her campaign that there would be thousands of beds for the homeless by the time we're here now, and there is nothing. So that's why you have homeless advocates over here advocating for the unhomed. And so what they've been providing over here is the basics: toiletries, food, blankets, a safe space away from people that just are sick in the head and want to beat up on a homeless person because they're a convenient target. And there's people in the world that are like that. There have also been mental health professionals coming in, providing mental health support, drug support, alcohol support. There has been extremely limited support from the city, extremely limited. As an example, they did come in and bring in a bin for used needles, so that if somebody was a drug user and they had a used needle, they could drop it in. However, they never came then and serviced the bin. So what happened over a period of time is the bin filled up and it became useless and you couldn't put your needles in there anymore. And that's kind of what they done. So now you know the backstory and the history and all that. So what happened today? Well, what's been going on is that Seattle police has randomly been coming in and clearing out the homeless that have gathered around here, the unhomed, and taking all of the supplies and the materials that have been donated to support the unhomed. And I'll get to what they did with some of those supplies today in a minute. But for the most part, they come in and dump everything. They come in with garbage trucks, they do a sweep, they arrest people, out. They're supposed to give 72 hours notice, writing, before they clear a homeless encampment. They're supposed to announce 4 hours before they come in. The navigation team is supposed to come in and help the people that they are relocating, dislocating, and none of that happened today. So they came in force. They pepper sprayed, they pushed, they shoved. There were multiple arrests. A streamer in this area who is a great streamer. He is a great individual. Not someone who I would, describe as like in your face, or he was asking for it. No, this is not the way this dude rolls at all. Arrested simply because he's black. And I'm just gonna call it out. Had it been a white streamer, or say a person of color streamer, a lighter skinned person of color streamer, probably wouldn't have got arrested today. And as a massive 1A advocate, that's infuriating to me. And then this went on for hours today. And strangely, Washington State Department of Correction officers, without name badges and with their badges covered, so badge numbers covered and no name badges, were supporting Seattle police today. Now remember I told you, I said I was going to tell you what happened to the supplies? Well, they didn't throw out the supplies today. They didn't throw out the food and the other items that were meant for the unhomed. Instead, Parks and Recreation and the Seattle Police Department had a picnic with the food meant for the unhomed. And they made a very, very public, antagonistic display about it today. And that's what they did. So that's what's happened here today. And now with kind of all of that backstory, and as you can see, the horrors of living in Seattle, let's go over to what's going on with the shelter house. So this over here is the bathroom. This is a bathroom facility. And so what they've done, how you doing? Good. So what they've done is they've put this fence up now around this. And if I come over here and I just kind of stay back so you can kind of see what's going on. They have the park closed sign, so we'll just put graffiti on there. Reminder, I report the news. That's it. Doesn't mean that I agree or disagree with anything I'm showing. I'm just reporting what I'm seeing. And then, as I said, this here is this shelter house. And as you can see, I mean, I'm standing less than 10 feet away from it, and the whole thing fits in the entire frame. It's not big. It's like, again, as I described, imagine the smallest church hall you can imagine with a tiny kitchen and a storage closet. And that's exactly what it is. And so what they've done is now they've put this fence around it. Fence is not like the fence down in Portland or the fence that was put up in Waukesha, Wisconsin. And there is this piece of artwork that's over here that's leaning up on the building. And if I come around now onto the other side, the fence goes just all the way around. Hey there, puppers. Now on this side, I'm told the fence was welded shut. And so, again, this is the sum total of the shelter house. And then you kind of have this cupola, this covered, semi-covered area that connects the shelter house. That's what it's called, the shelter house. And connects over to the bathroom. And so what SPD has been doing, once every kind of 5 to 10 days, is they come in. This is the second time they've done it with no announcement. And they come in during the day. They don't come in at night. Because, you know, that's one of the favorite refrains that we see in the comments. Oh, it's all calm during the day. And then, you know, then the monsters come out at night. Well, they don't come out here at night. They come out here during the day when the Unhomed is out here.
And I watch out, a lot of people ain't got their mask on.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where things are at right now. So
in 2020, other than like COVID, you know?
And so right now at the moment, you know, some of you might be going, well, there's nothing going on. Where's the chaos? I don't know if there's going to be chaos. I'm not out here looking for chaos. If anything, I'm out here showing the banality of SPD's actions. Well, it wasn't peaceful here at 11. It was. This was just people helping the Unhomed here at 11 o'clock-ish today. Why would you take food from homeless people and then eat it in front of them? Unless you're just cruel to the core. I mean, if you have a kid, would you take ice cream from your kid and then eat the ice cream in front of them simply because you're bigger than them and you can get away with it? Well, let's go see what's going on here.
Malcontentment Tango's here.
Yeah.
So we got security marching through.
So it looked like 3 private security people that just kind of marched through.
Keep an eye on your dinner, okay? I'm staying here.
But I don't know what that was about. And it looks like they just kept walking. I don't see them anymore. So, ooh, I want to see what's going on over there. We'll go see over there. Hey, hey. As a matter of fact, let me do this. I'm going to send the camera up a little higher. For those of you who may be just joining the stream, when I send the camera up higher, what I have to do is I have to point it down at the ground. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it'll make sense shortly. Yeah, there's definitely... I'm just getting under the tree. Seattle police has hired private security out here before, and there has been issues with the private security companies. So what we're going to do, the reason I brought up the pole higher, it's safer for everyone when I bring the pole up higher, unless there's power lines around, and then it's not very safe for me. It really is. It's safer for me, it's safer for the police, and it's safer for the protesters. How is it safer for protesters? Up high like this, it obscures faces. And so privacy is better supported. How does this, that's Bella Ciao that's playing. The way that it provides quote unquote protection for the police is it provides a very wide angle so everything can be seen. If Seattle Police Department actually acted above board most of the time, which of what I've witnessed through my camera is not the case, it would help them build more of a case that, hey, we're operating, you know, in an ethical and fair and legal way. But that hasn't been the case, and we've caught that. And it's ultimately it's safer for me because I get a little bit wide, especially if there's bright lights on and people are trying to blind people on the ground. The higher view generally gets above that, and then I can see better what's going on. Yeah, if people are asking why everything looks so dry here, from June 1 to September 1, Seattle had 2.76 inches of rain. Oh my God, how does he know this shit? Because I'm a total weather geek. That's actually how this page started in 2016. It was about the weather. And then all this crazy stuff started happening. Anyway, that's how this page started. And so I think, you know, people think, oh, Seattle's rainy and stuff, and we're really freaking dry. And the other thing is, we actually had a pretty wet June. So even though we had average rainfall for the summer, it was almost all in June. It has generally been very, very dry. And we're actually local news. This is local news. The rest of you could just stick the fingers in your ears and go la 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 if you're Kirkland, Seattle, and you've been here from the early days to the weather. We have a better than like a slim chance to see maybe 90 degrees next week, which not quite unprecedented, but really friggin' late in the year for weather models to be projecting that, hey, maybe we're gonna get up to 90-ish. So anyway, that's why. And then if you're like, no, they're killing all the grass because look, everything's green over there, you're lying. That's fake turf. That's like not real turf over there, it's fake shit. So that's why it's all green over there, and the real grass here is really brown.
They're gonna call Piggy.
Yeah.
I don't know when.
You should have someone, one of your own, watching though.
I'm about to have someone come over.
So and SPD has done this before. They've hired a different private security company, and then back on August 15th, the day before the SPOG march on the 16th, there was a very, very significant incident that had happened here that honestly, if there weren't multiple people streaming, there would have been one woman in particular that probably would have been looking at multiple felonies, and ended up being released and not charged in less than 24 hours because the two videos did not support anything that SPD was accusing this woman of. Private security company based out of Auburn, Washington, was up here being very, very antagonistic, kind of acting more as in a law enforcement capacity than a private security capacity. There was a woman that essentially, in trying to move away from the private security people, essentially found herself at the wrong place at the wrong time. Things erupted. An SPD officer, the video showed this, essentially steps bad and falls to the ground. It really appears in the video, and apparently prosecutors agree with this because she was released and uncharged. It really appears in the video that she actually goes to help the SPD officer back up, and she's essentially tackled, handcuffed, etc., and things really erupt. That same night is the same night that another SPD undercover officer drove his vehicle up onto a sidewalk. People had to jump off of the sidewalk to prevent getting hit, including in the video, one person jumping through the bushes. He called protesters cockroaches. When he was asked, why are you out here? He says, because I make over $200,000 a year babysitting your ass. No, they don't. The average salary of a SPD police officer is $153,000 a year before benefits per the Seattle Times. The highest paid officer in Seattle made $414,000 per the Seattle Times and per Forbes. If you look at how they're paid and their paid structure, $414,000 in a year as a patrol officer is basically financially impossible. It is impossible for him to have worked that much, but that's what's on his timesheets, and SPD has no comment on how they did that. So anyway, that's it on the numbers before people go, and they don't make that much money. Yes, they do. So that officer is now suspended, pending investigation, because of his behavior of driving with the unmarked police vehicle and driving up on the sidewalk, and then the comments that he made. And Brandy Cruz, who was at Fox, and somebody who, say, maybe a year, 18 months ago, I would have said was actually engaged in trying to have mutual dialogue, appears like so many others who, you know, you think they're kind of in it to tell the story, and just report it as it is. And then when they discover that, oh, if I kind of position it this way, I can get a lot more people looking at my stuff. You know, and she's just kind of gone full right. But even Brandy Cruz, you know, was saying that, you know, what the officer kind of said and did, they shouldn't have said and done. So, And she's taken flack for it. And in an editorial, she was like, hey, that's too friggin' bad. They shouldn't have done it. Is Seattle a little dirty and gross, like the officer said? Why, yes, I would agree with that. So anyway, that's what's happened with the private security folks. That's what's happened with the private security folks. And again, the thing I'm a little bit concerned, this does not look like the same other private security company that was out here 2 weeks ago. I have a feeling that they've probably been uninvited after the incident on 8/15. And kind of like this borderline propaganda video that they put up on their website. And I know some of you are like, what's the name of the company? And I don't remember. If somebody in the comments know who it is, what is it?
Jaguar.
No, the one that was here 2 weeks ago.
No idea.
The one it's.
How often are they switching them out?
Well, the other guys I think screwed up. That's what I'm telling my audience. I think they kind of screwed up like 2 weeks ago. And I think that's why that we have these people here now.
Are they deputized?
No idea.
Well, they got badges.
Well, I know, but the private security people, you know, they look wannabe to me. So
Yeah.
because if they were deputized, then all the liability falls on the city.
Oh, okay.
And I'm pretty sure the city attorneys would just be like, oh hell no.
Yeah.
So
We're asking them just reasonable questions and they're not giving us anything because they feel attacked. So, who are you with?
Malcontentment Tango?
Huh?
Malcontentment Tango. I'm the malcontent.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Alright, check it out.
Yeah. Thank you. So anyway, now you know all that boring story. And here we go. The hellscape that is Seattle. You want me to tell a Yoda the Wonder Pug story? I could tell everybody a Yoda Wonder the Pug. I mean, again, there's not a whole lot that's going on. I could tell you all the Yoda the Wonder Pug story. You know, but right now, things are very, very quiet. The light isn't very good back in this area. I don't know how much you can kind of see what's going on. And so this area that I'm at, I'm just seeing what my framing is. Give me a second here as feeds up. I think if I tilt this down a little, you might be able to see. I don't know how well you're going to see it here, but back at the start of CHOP, there was these vegetable and flower garden beds that were planted out here. And people have been coming in and caring for them. They've been coming in and bringing in water, and they've been collecting. We've had a little bit. Yeah, I guess you can see a little bit of it. They've been collecting some rain barrel water. You might be able to see some of those rain barrels in the shots. People have also been coming in and just filling them up, and they've been keeping the things here watered. And so we have all of these gardens here. Interestingly, this is another thing where it's just like the hypocrisy of the city makes me want to just put my head through the wall sometimes. The city asked when CHOP was going on not to use any nitro-based fertilizers, and also some people that parked cars out here, and they said, don't park your cars out here because this is a capped reservoir we're at. So under our feet is a reservoir and some of the drinking water supply for Seattle. When they do these sweeps, when they've done these homeless sweeps, they've just parked garbage trucks and other vehicles just all over up here on the top of the reservoir cap, for hours. And no protocols taken on like, oh, okay, we're going to put this under the truck just to make sure because we don't want to contaminate the water supply, blah, 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 blah. It's just hypocrisy. And oh, you're just whining. It's like, no, this is not a left or right issue. Look, if let's say in your city that you lived in, and they have some silly ordinance, let's just pick some silly ordinance, like you can't paint your house pink. Let's say that's the ordinance. And you get a mayor, and the mayor likes the color pink, and the mayor orders City Hall to be painted pink. And so City Hall's painted pink. And then you go, I always wanted a pink house, just like the John Cougar song. I'm going to paint my house pink. and then you get a ticket from the city because you painted your house pink. Would you not be pissed off? Would you not be going, what the hell? Regardless if you are political left, political right, centrist, right? Wouldn't you be like, this is BS? So if the city comes in and says, don't use nitrate fibers, don't drive your car up here, and then they come up here and drive and park their cars up here, isn't that total BS? I don't know why this is so hard to understand. I don't think it's like, I don't think these are hard questions or hard observations or unreasonable observations.
Spring snacks are better.
I think there's a lot of listening.
Hey, hey. Hey.
Well, they welded them together. That's one thing. Like,
Anyway, there's a little campfire going. Everybody likes a little campfire. I am streaming, so
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'll just letting you know the mic's hot.
I was gonna ask if you asked people if it was okay to stream this, because I know there's people in black.
Yeah, so the way when it's up high like this, you can't. I mean, I can show you what the image looks like. You really can't see anything.
No, yeah, I've seen some of your streams before. I appreciate your work, but I was just
Yeah.
also maybe still good to ask just because.
Okay, that's fair.
You've also got this one here, and
That one's totally off.
some people don't necessarily know that, and it
Yeah.
could cause distrust and contention and stuff.
So here I can do this.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's probably honestly just better just in terms of trust and everything if I just ask everybody.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your name?
I'm the Malcontent.
Okay. Cool.
So here, one second.
There you go.
I'm gonna mute the mic for a second. Yep. All right, so my credentials have been cleared. That's all. Little journalistic conversation so that I can keep streaming. Because I have worked really hard to earn trust in the multiple groups, and I don't want to break the trust that I've earned, because I believe that all angles of the story should be told. I have been to Trump rallies. I've been to Seattle police officer Diaz rallies. I've interviewed Peter Diaz of American Bold. I'm laughing because it's like even the 3%ers are kind of like, yo, Peter, you're too crazy for us. Literally, go look at American Bold's Twitter. I'm not making it up. Like, just dude, please just stay away. Look, if I talk to somebody and they're special brand of crazy, I don't care if they're political left, right, alien, green, Mars, centrist, if you're batshit crazy. Peter Diaz, he is just so batshit crazy that, like again, like the population, 3% and stuff, none of it. But I interviewed him, and I appreciate the interview. Lakota's getting some. Lakota from, oh shoot, the camera, looks like the camera rotated. 1 second. We can fix that. We can fix that, I think. Actually, two technical problems. I probably got awful quiet for a second. 1 second here. There, now you can probably hear me. Was everybody feeling like the world was on a weird angle for a while? So, Lakota and I have been haranguing each other while we've been streaming about the different doctors and Doctors Who's. And he's getting some payback on me tonight. So well played, sir. Very, very well played. Oh my goodness. There, that's probably a lot better. Hey, if any of the mods are on, like people that link to other videos and stuff, can we vet what this video is? And if it's something troll, like this just screams troll, right? They're posting it over and over again. So you know what? Goodbye. And if I just if I just put the ban hammer down on somebody that didn't deserve it, one of the admins or mods can figure it out. So, oh yes, they're rioters. Yes, you see the riot going on? Here you go. This is where the comments crack me up. See? Seattle, Washington. A city in ruins. A city living in fear. See? I can do the Fox News thing. Uh-oh. There you go. Yes, this city is in fear. Fear of the impending rain that is coming in October and the cold, miserable weather that awaits. Seriously, that's a city that is in fear that Lauren Cult will get more than 15% of the vote in King County. Yes, this is a city under siege. Soccer players live in denial as they play amongst the rioters. I don't know, let's go see if there's I'm just trying to see if there's anything going on. Let's see, we got some people over here at the basketball court and they just hanging out and talking. Uh-oh, here it is. Here's the ruination of Seattle right here. Tennis players. I've heard about this. They come in and they whack helpless, innocent little yellow balls. Beat them senselessly. See, look at that. Look at the carnage. Oh no. He's gonna hit that poor ball again. Oh. That could be a protester ball. It could be a Republican ball. We don't know. But you can hate what's happening to that ball either way. As you sit here and witness Seattle being ruined.
You stand. I'll be right back. At what press you with?
I'm Malcontentment Tango. Malcontentment Tango. We're independent media.
Nah, that's real. Listen, you need to express it. They kicked them guys out of here.
What's that?
They kicked them guys out of here.
I know. We saw everything that happened.
And all they did was strip the homeless and they like whoop some people. They're gonna know some more shit over there.
Hey, so where the photo at for the press though, you know? I'm trying to speak a couple words in dedication to the Black Lives Matter, you feel me?
I feel you.
So you guys gonna be over here or?
Well, there,
you know, is you recording?
I'm recording, but I don't think they can hear. I'm recording right now, but I don't think they can hear you if you're standing all the way over there, though. So, because my microphone's right here.
Well, I might drop my little cousin. Oh,
here I can hold.
Oh,
I know.
Oh, come on,
But I see
come
if
on,
you
come
stand
on.
back. If you stand back, then here. Let's do this.
Hey, wait.
Let's do this.
Hey, this shit might make me famous.
I don't know how famous we're gonna make you on the Malcontentment Tango here, but all right, let's see. All right, we got you framed up.
You got me?
We got you, and
watch
I'll
this.
just hold this out like that. I'll just
All
hold
right.
this out like that.
So I can go anytime?
You can go.
All right, 5.
Drop some
4,
wisdom on us.
3, 2, one. Hey, tune in live to NASA Game news station. I just like to tell you guys a couple words for consideration, rehabilitation for you white folk and all the other people that don't support Black Lives Matter. We're all human beings at the end of the day. We're just more holier than you guys, man. And it's just fucked up because we started a whole bunch of shit that you guys just took from us. You guys took us from a whole nother continent and brought us here. And now we built this up like the ladder, like, you know, shooting ladders of the game. And it's so crazy. Yes, it might sound funny to some niggas, but my knowledge and my examples means a lot. Because this is the fucking truth. I just want to let you guys know. Have a nice night, and I hope you guys realize Black Lives Matter too. We're human like you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Doing it live. Hey, it's nigga news. Live,
I can't repeat that, obviously, but I'm very amused by it. There you go. I mean, I think it was said beautifully. I think it was said absolutely beautifully. Anyway, that was one of the people that were playing. They were finishing up a basketball game a little earlier, and they just said they were walking their nephew back. Very cute little kid. Oh, it's a puppers! Hey there, puppers! I know people are like puppers. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on. Oops, sorry about kicking the pole there. How you doing? Kick the pole twice. Good. So, you know, back to so what's going on is some of the activists that are out here, they're back out here picking up. There's not a lot of trash to pick up in the first place, but they're out here picking up some of the trash, and that's kind of what's going on. So I'm going to sit down for a minute. And wow, I'm a little puzzled. Oh, I hope I didn't lose my stream. 1 second here. Did we go off the air? Okay, we didn't go off the air. Looked like we had gone off the air for a minute. I'm using a different app tonight than what I've been using to do the multicasting and the streaming. And I didn't run a test, so I just kind of dove into this cold. So what's wrong with the camera? Everything looks good to me. So really, at this point, you know, there's you know, it's chaos, as you can see. I know there's tremendous disappointment in the lack of chaos. I don't know what to tell you. You know, if that's what you're here for, if you're here to kind of see the what I affectionately call protest porn, I think you're going to be pretty disappointed tonight. I think SPD got it out of their system, as the other guy was saying, kind of, you know, they beat on the Unhomed today. They took their food, they ate it in front of them. They threw out a lot of their stuff in a garbage truck, and they arrested some people. And that's what happened today in broad daylight. And so that's where we're at. Thank you, mods, for doing the great job that you do. So, What I'm gonna probably do is just stick here, because we kind of want to see what's going on. By the way, you know what? It's time for a pay increase for my mods. My mods are paid in hearts, so go ahead and spam those hearts and let our mods know that you appreciate the job that they're doing, because they love it when they see all those hearts get spammed up and lit up in the feed. So go ahead and spam those hearts and show your love to the mods, because they are paid in hearts. Oh, come on. Y'all could do better than this. There's no hearts? Or is there more delay? Maybe there's more delay in this app. Oh, see, this is how you do it. You go like this. Nobody's happy about the mods? No love for the mods? Mods, I'm trying, but I don't think y'all are getting any love tonight. I don't know what's up with this.
That's so strange. I can see that I'm familiar with that. They're a little like standoffish.
We love people that press the angry faces. We love those people, because the people that press the angry faces over and over again when we're just talking about something nice, it just makes it easier to find who you are and ban you. Yeah. And you know, I haven't said this in a long time. We love the trolls. We love you. Because what happens when you come in and troll the feed is the Facebook AI doesn't care that you're here because you're unhappy about being shown the truth that nothing bad is happening, and that Seattle is not in flames, and that I am in the heart of what people would have called CHOP, and it's just a perfectly normal night. I'll turn this around, with people in Cal Anderson Park just doing things that people do at a park. And I know you're all really unhappy about that. But the part that I guess you don't seem to understand is, when you come in and watch, Facebook AI doesn't care if you don't like it or not. As a matter of fact, Facebook AI promotes things that piss people off, because it gets people engaged on Facebook. So you're actually helping more people see the stream that you don't want to have see the stream and like and follow the page. And that's why we love you. And we do eventually just go through and find the people that hit the angry faces and just ban you out. So death is coming for you swiftly. Okay, here we go. So there is actually a really long ass delay with this new app. Good to know. Really? Well, it depends on what device you're on. It's always weird. I know if you're watching on a mobile device and in app, it can be very, very weird watching in app. I know that. And I know there's times I'm watching in app and I have no emoji option. All I can do is give a thumbs up or nothing. So look at all those hearts mods. Look at all those hearts. Go ahead, you can go ahead and pay your mortgage with those hearts tomorrow. Oh my God, Gerald wins the internet. Oh, if it were only true. I know you're all probably just like, show us something. Show me something. There isn't really anything to show. I mean, seriously. There's like nothing going on. It's really, really quiet.
Yeah, well, I guess
So, well, what I'm gonna do is continue to And yes, they're doing exercises. They're literally doing exercises in the park. That's right. This is, are you are you clutching your pearls? Are you just like, oh my goodness gracious, what are we gonna do now? They're doing calisthenics in the end of the world. They stretching out and doing calisthenics in the park. I'm scared. Y'all are seeing it. Camera don't lie. I guess all of it just comes down to my very snarky way that I know some people appreciate and other people hate. But in my very snarky way, you know, don't believe everything you're told. And that's just what it boils down to. Don't believe everything that you're told. I mean, because that's it at the end of the day. Right? There's nothing going on. City's not in flames. Nothing going down. Everything is just kind of very, very chill. See, they're a little clapping after their calisthenics. Some people went around there, now they're being told they need to go drink some water after having the exercise. Terrible, isn't it? Oh, is this, no, I don't think this is any security peeps coming through here. I'm curious on what, oh, it's just like a trash dumpster. It's totally like some kind of trash dumpster. But I've never seen one that looks like this. But I can see like trash bags sticking out of it. And it's not portable and it doesn't look like a toolbox. So I do my own cardio. So I don't need to do the workout with them. Saturday, I climbed Dege Peak in Mount Rainier National Park, and I did it in my full field gear. So all my camera equipment, backpack loaded up, all the protective equipment. I think Dege Peak starts at 6,100 feet. I mean, that's a workout. Cardio. I love these comments. I'm loving these comments because you know what's getting this can't be real. This can't be true because I've seen, right? It's the same thing. And then these are the same people that are going, this can't be real. This can't be true. That whenever there is police misconduct, go, well, that's just a few bad apples, right? That's the play. They go, that's just a few bad apples. How you doing? Oh, please, no.
I am one of the older people out here, and you're older than me.
I appreciate it.
Seriously, it makes everybody safer.
No, I agree with that. I agree with. Totally agree with. And I've said that to other people. And it's true. It's really true. As a streamer, let me go back to what I was saying about, you know, the same people that are going, but I've seen on TV they did, right? These are the exact same people that go, well, that was just a bad apple. Oh, they made a mistake. Oh, that wasn't their intent. You know, there's always a couple of bad apples. But if you were going to judge, if you're going to dismiss a few bad actors on one side, then you can't look at the other side and go, well, they're all bad. I mean, exactly what have I burned down personally? I mean, my whole video history is up here since May 30th. Have I ever thrown a water bottle? Have I ever thrown a punch? Have I ever, for that matter, have I ever like gotten into a police officer's face and just antagonized them and begged them to like hit me or do something? What lawful, I stress lawful order, what lawful order have I refused to follow? And that's the case for most protesters. But you've covered some of the direct action stuff, absolutely. And I've said, when I've covered the direct action stuff, it's part of the narrative. It is part of this story. It is part of this history. Does Morning March do direct action? Morning March comes out at 8 in the morning and they start with yoga and stretching. Then they walk down the street and do their chants and their cadence, and they pick up trash and they do beautification and they do some protests and they go home. Does EDM break stuff? Everyday march? No. They march, they go up to people, and they try to sit down and have a constructive conversation with them. And they've had some amazing conversations. Do people in DA break stuff? Yeah, they break stuff. Does that mean I agree with it because I'm out here shooting? Does it mean that I agreed with everything that was said at the Seattle Police Officers Guild rally or at a Trump rally? Or did I agree with Peter Wolf? Or Peter Diaz of American Wolf when I interviewed him? Did I agree with the Trump supporters that I talked to? Some of them had some very reasoned arguments. We've had some very, very reasonable conversations with them. We actually streamed at the SPOG rally towards the end, a group of Trump supporters, including one woman who was pretty heated, and a group of people that are aligned with Black Lives Matter. We probably streamed it for about 15 minutes and they ended shaking hands. They kind of ended agreeing not to agree. They kind of ended up agreeing that they couldn't agree, but they also agreed that they had moved closer and understood each other better. You know, dialogue. You know, let's talk about Portland for a minute, right? Because Portland, oh my goodness, there was fire, right? Of course, if you get your news from a guy like Andy No, who also steals our content, by the way. Andy, go out and get your own flipping content. Here, 1 second.
Well, isn't there Jamal breaking down some weed? That's smoke.
Reading something here that's actually really, really important. Dora, I'm actually reading your post, and it just, I saw a couple of things you said, and we will not share that streamer's post again. I'm pretty sure when we shared that streamer's post, because things were super spicy in LA at the time, I believe we had put a disclaimer up there that we had not vetted that streamer, and so I am so glad that you let me know that, and we won't share that streamer again. Joe, just remember that Jesus Christ was a Jew, a dark-skinned Jew. There's not a single Christian in the Bible until after the Gospels, and that Muslims, Jews, and Christians all worship at the root the same God. Take as much time as you want to unpack that. Oh my God, you're antagonizing my religion. No, I'm just stating facts, buddy. Yeah. So Andy No, who also steals our content, hence why we're having to take, and I've had to do DCMA takedowns. I had to do 4 hours of DCMA takedown requests today, and or copyright because music was playing in the background of the newscast, going, no, we're a newscast, or we're showing a dance recital in the case of YouTube. No, we're showing somebody dancing and that represents fair use, and it was part of a newscast. I don't like spending my time doing crap like that. I mean, you know, Ken, here's the false moral equivalency again. What about the Antifa killing? I see, and what about the 2 people that were killed in Waukesha? What about the over 200 reporters in this country, both independent media, streamers like myself, newspaper reporters, credentialed foreign reporters, and credentialed mainstream media that have had their eyes shot out by rubber bullets because they were shot at their heads, have been hospitalized with severe injuries? Why is it the United States is now on the list of the most dangerous countries in the world for journalists? I'm standing out here right now in body armor, and it's not because of the people I'm filming right now. It's because of the Proud Boys, the alt-right, and SPD, or for that matter, the police in general. That's why I wear this stuff, because that's my experience. I was in a group when a car drove through a group. So spare me the false, again, it just goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you're going to judge the group from their bad actors, then you have to judge both sides from their bad actors. Otherwise, it's just false moral equivalency or your bias. That is absolutely true. Jesus Christ is like Jesus Christ in Judah and in the Muslim in Islam. I mean, he's like mega prophet, right? He is like Elijah in Christianity, right? Elijah is kind of like the dude, like, hey, there's somebody coming. And in Islam, I'm probably going to oversimplify this, but Jesus is like mega prophet. Jesus is believed in Islam going to be the person that's going to judge the living and dead. That's what they believe. Surprise! But then they're kind of like, Jesus was a really big prophet, but he wasn't the Son of God. His ego got a little too big. That's kind of like, again, I'm way oversimplifying, but that's kind of like where Islam is on that. I'm not in the street, Paul. I'm in a sidewalk, and we were talking earlier in the stream, if you were listening, about how SPD officer is suspended for driving his car up on the sidewalk at protesters. And the incident that I was at, the car drove over the sidewalk at protesters. So let's face it, it's not get out, and let's not remember, in Portland, when the Proud Boys, where were they? Oh, that's right, they were in the street. So were they supposed to stay out of the street too? Your bias is showing, Paul. Well, Cassie, what am I supposed to do? Then I'll be quiet, and then you can complain about there's nothing going on. If you think I talk too much, then you can leave. But here, Cassie says I talk too much, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to be quiet, and we'll just point the camera over here. All right, April made me laugh. I knew someone sooner or later would make me laugh. I can hear you breathing. I love the coward comment. They're cowards. That's the person sitting in their mom's basement behind the keyboard going, they're cowards. I've filmed these people for over 3 months. I can tell you, they're anything but cowards. I would strike. All right, so for the people ask where we are in Seattle, and we are live. And you know, because you've been told by your leadership and by the likes of some of the people in the mainstream media on the horrible destruction that is going on in Seattle. So we're just out here showing you how there's a group of people doing some exercise in the park and enjoying a campfire like people do at a park. And we have other people out in the park. They might be Antifa terrorists, we're not sure. They're sitting in socially distanced groups talking, and there were some people earlier that were playing some soccer, but they left. And we also filmed some horrible abuse of a tennis ball that was getting beaten by rackets. I'm not sure if that was an Antifa tennis ball or a Proud Boy tennis ball. We couldn't get an interview in because it was being beaten so mercilessly by 2 people. I'm not sure if that dog is Antifa also. The dog had no comment. It told me stop filming this film from back here. At this point, what I'm just wondering is if SPD is actually going to come in here tonight, which is why I'm sticking around. Oh, wait a minute. Is that Auto Club? 1 second. Everyone's like, oh boy, mayhem. Now everyone's like, I gotta share the feed, share the feed. I do see blinking lights up here. And I don't mean the hazard lights. I do see, no, they're not here. They're not here. Auto Club is not here. By the way, that's what I say when the SPD shows up. Hey, the Auto Club is here. Normally, what would be happening, I'm turning the camera out of respect of this unhomed individual. Normally, what would be happening here is they'd actually would be serving the unhomed food at this time. There would be people cooking actually really good food. But the Seattle Police Department and the Parks Department felt that they should take all the food that was here in a raid earlier today, and then they had their own cookout with the food meant for the homeless and ate it in front of them, like petulant children. See, it's so funny, like some of the comments here, because again, I've been filming for 3 months. And yeah, if you're like waiting for something, if something's gonna happen, it's not gonna be this group. It'll be the police coming in. And what that person said earlier, I actually agree with. Because there is credentialed press here, because there is legitimate press. I'm legitimate press. No, you're in your own mind, you are. Oh, no. Read the impressium on the website. It's all explained there. Because I am attached to a bona fide media company that I own. Yes, I have a job. Actually, I haven't seen get a job in a while. I guess people have figured that out in the feed. Of course, now somebody's probably going to type in, get a job! Oh, Kevin, we certainly do not allow homophobia here. And Kevin, before I ban you, people that say stuff like that, dude, just admit it and get out of the closet. Because you so far in the closet, you find in presence. Can I turn up the volume? Seriously? You guys are having a hard time hearing me? That doesn't even make sense. People were like saying you could hear me breathing a few minutes ago. I would say it's probably your device, Bobby. Unless other people are saying that they can't hear me, it's probably your device. No one's going to tell me to leave because there was a conversation that I had earlier with this group, and I have the trust and respect of this group because I worked very, very hard to earn the trust of this group. Now, one thing I wouldn't be surprised it would happen tonight is that this fence is going to come down around the shelter. That I firmly believe is going to happen tonight. That would be my guess. But we will see. They're moving, and they're moving as a group. It's actually earlier than what I thought. For some reason I thought it was past 10 o'clock. So there's kind of a group that is straggling behind part of one of the agreements. So this is what I'm going to do. A couple of things. We're going to bring the pole up. Those of you not familiar with pole cam, I do have to point it at the ground to bring it up. And then we're gonna follow the group. I actually thought it was later. By the way, remember all these people that are in here. Oh, can I get that in frame? Why not? Sorry about this. Shoot. I am trying to get this in frame, and I don't see it at all. Oh well, we're going to catch up in the group. There's a sign up there that says park closed, and you have all these people in the park. And when I say all these people, I don't mean the people in ENDD that I'm following. I mean just regular ordinary people. So SPD is very, very selective when they do park closed. I will say this. This is about the biggest group that I've seen. How you doing? By the way, do you want the news or you want me out of the road? People that are like, stay out of the road. So do you want to see the news or do you want me out of the road? Well, I think things are going to get funky. Hey, can one of you unzip this bag behind me and just yank my helmet out for me? Thank you.
Want me to hold this while you get it?
Yo, thank you so much, yes.
Sort of crucial.
There's a cop car right by the East Precinct.
Come on, snap. I'm in, thank you. All right, I'm gonna military run. So what's happened is the East Precinct has kind of turned itself into a fort. They reused a bunch of what are called ecology blocks. And there's what appears to be throwing bags of garbage over the fence. So, one second, while that fire truck's unrelated. There's a fire station about 2 blocks up the road. So what's happened is the East Precinct building, they put up these ecology blocks 3 or 4 high. Then they put up this fence even higher over that. And basically almost all the buildings have been boarded, all the windows have been boarded up. The police station itself is still operational and still being used. The ecology blocks, that's what Seattle calls them. I know. Believe me, this is why I tell people, it's like, I'm not as liberal as you think. They call them ecology blocks. Why blocks of concrete have to do ecology, I don't know. But what the cars just driving through, it's fine. They're the same ones that we used in CHOP. And the reason that we know that they're the same ones in CHOP is because they still have all the CHOP graffiti on them. So I guess they recycled them, we could say. They are now TPing the East Precinct. They're literally TPing the East Precinct building. It's hard not. Come on, you have to admit, it's a little hard not to laugh that they're TPing the building. I'm gonna shift my position a little bit because I'm actually just kind of by myself, which I don't like to be when these are going on. Oh, well, somebody just escalated big time, and everybody's now kind of moving back.
Who just did that?
Well, you saw it here live, and I've said many times before, you know, I report it, doesn't mean I agree with it.
Everybody now, it's not going to be city anymore, it's felony now, 20 years.
What I don't know at this point we can't see what's going on the other side of the wall. I guess in theory I could go over there with the pole cam, but it's probably not advisable. I probably won't have a pole cam anymore.
Lieutenant Brooks of the Seattle Police Department, you started a fire outside the precinct. You put people's lives at risk. It's a public safety emergency. We are ordering the crowd to disperse.
So What SPD has been doing in the last 24 hours is arresting streamers regardless of credentials. There is, just so you can see, there is no, let me swing this slowly. There's nobody here, right? The people that are out here are actually people that just live in the neighborhood at this point. There is an individual that's trying to put the fire out. There's a woman that's literally standing next to me who lives in the neighborhood. A couple other people here that are taking pictures, and it looks like another individual is kind of coming over to kind of try to help to put the fire out. Mods, when stuff like this is going on, of course, I have no opportunity. So this is what I'm going to do. Is I'm just going to move like a half a block back so we can keep reporting the story. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah. You're going to stick around here?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully they're just going to keep driving. Yeah, they took a long, hard look at me, but they just kept driving. Nobody took a look at me in that one.
Everyone dispersed or dipped out, or?
Yeah, yeah. It was really quick, yeah. It does look like the fire is completely out. People that are talking to me, it's a couple of people that they're photographers, and so that's who's out here talking to me right now. No, here, 1 second. Well, this could be SPD. No exempt plates.
It does. It's not about Black Lives at all.
And then they run away.
Yeah, cowards. The black community needs to come together and chase them off. That's what they need to do.
Well, that's what I want. I want people to come out here. Next time they come down, I just want to go home, get a job, something. Get out of here. Hey, see what happens when they get together.
You know, people may not like it, but I feel like they need to do a curfew again.
Yeah.
Do you all live in the neighborhood?
Yeah, I live just a few blocks down.
So, I mean, I'm live right now. If you don't want to talk, that's fine. But if you want to talk, I'd love to talk to you for a couple of minutes. So you don't sound like you're very happy about what just happened here.
No, I'm not.
So,
hey,
tell me about, just tell me about what you're thinking. And I heard some of it, and I'm just walking up. Camera's pointing back over at the precinct building, so.
Let me end this. I've been vocal nonstop. I chair the African American Advisory Council.
Got it.
And we don't support this. It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. They just tear the city up, and they hijacked our movement. You know?
Right.
And I'm sick of it. We need to get focused back on why the protest started in the first place.
How do you think we get back to that?
Run them off.
Okay, that's part.
Yeah, but you know what we're trying to do? We're trying to get the black community and whoever. We need to come out here, and when they're doing this, and tell them you need to stop. Because
So
you're not representing us.
So how do we amplify those voices?
We're trying. I don't know. We're trying. I think people are in because of COVID, and which I should have this and
I have two on. I've gotten so used. I've been out here for 3 months. I'm doubled up, right? So I've just gotten so used to it at this point.
They're afraid, you know. But the black community that I talk to, and it's the older generation, they're fed up.
Right.
Yep.
Let me ask you this question. We interviewed Nikki Blake on Sunday. So she's Jacob Blake's. Yeah. So we interviewed her on Sunday, and one of the things in my interview with her, she talked about how hopeful she was with the younger Gen Z, right? This young generation, and I asked her why. And one of the things that she told me was that generation has grown up in school shooter drills. And so they have grown up going to school, kind of having drilled into their head that this may be the last day of your life because someone may come in and shoot up the school and you have to be ready for this in school shooter drills, which I'm a product of Gen X, so grew up at the end of the Cold War, right, with this whole kind of, and when she said that, it really crystallized it because Gen X really likes Gen Z. I've noticed that, right? And I think that's a common bond that we have. We kind of grew up with this fatalistic view. So the reason where I'm going with this is this. You have a generation that's grown up kind of accepting that they could get shot at any moment, right? And that's not just that's across racial lines, right? Because
I don't agree with that.
Okay, that's fine. Then let's talk about it.
Yeah, I think the black kids grow up knowing that they can get shot any moment. But a lot of these kids have white privilege. They're not even from around here, and I don't think they think that they can get shot. I think they think they're invincible, you know. Their butts wouldn't be out here if they thought they would get shot. Now, I feel like if this were a bunch of black kids doing this,
different game.
Yeah, this would not be happening. No way. And I'm beyond pissed. I'm just. We have got to do something.
What am I saying over there?
Is he naked?
Naked guy just jogged by.
That's what I thought.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We're here having this conversation and we just missed, I don't know, did that get in the camera? We just missed the naked dude.
And I thought, no.
It looked like his butt.
Yeah, he was naked.
He's really naked.
Yeah.
There's we're here having this conversation and a naked dude just walked right past us.
He's not worried about being shot or
He's not worried about anything, apparently.
Yeah.
I guess after that, a little levity is good. Do you have a card?
You know what? I didn't bring a purse.
Okay, so let me do this for 1 second. I'm gonna malcontents. I'm going to mute the microphone. Just a little pause for the cause. Mods, if you just let people know we're muted for a little bit. Just like one more minute, malcontents. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm so curious in the comments if people saw a naked dude while we were talking. There's a naked dude just ran past us here. Hey mods, I see your comments there. You know, just start swinging the band hammer. I don't know what else to tell you. I know you're all doing the best that you can, and I know that I'm waiting for the street light to cross. So you know what? I'm just not going to wait anymore. I'm going to go this way. I went to go look at the comments to see, hey, did naked dude come by? And there's just so many comments, I don't know. So I have to dip the camera here. So what we were talking about while the camera was while the microphone was muted is we're gonna get Vicky on the show. And we're going to do an interview with her as somebody who represents the black community and lives in Capitol Hill. Not tonight, but we're going to set something up. So we'll cross the street this way.
Oh, hell yeah! Yes! No, you can invite me. I'll be there. I see it, man! Alright, bye. I don't get it. Fucking
move! Well, I see everybody's salty tonight. Well, things certainly took a turn now, didn't they? And so what it appears is, which is typically what happens after these type of actions, is the group is just dissolved. Or not. 1 second. One second. No, I don't think it's anything. Fire department was never deployed, so it either burned itself out or they took care of it themselves. Yeah. No.
Pretty quick. Yeah.
Disperse. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah. Get out while you can. Yeah.
So yeah, they've dispersed out, and that's the end of the direct action. And then just like that, Seattle's back to normal. And we're right back to kind of where this all started. I've said it many times. I was saying it earlier when I was talking to Vicky earlier. You know, I told her this, and I've said this many times in the streams. We've covered Seattle Police Officers Guild rallies. We've covered Trump rallies. We've covered direct action. I've never had any of the Proud Boys willing to talk to me on camera. We had American Wolf leadership talk to us on camera. And it's part of the story, right? It's part of the story. Just because I'm covering one thing or another doesn't mean I necessarily agree with the thing that I'm covering. When the voiceless feel they have no voice, this is what happens. I think as a society, we're asking the wrong questions. That's my personal view, and I'm entitled to it. People are asking how is this thing up? So, all right, so it's a pole cam. It's a camera. It's on a pole, and I would estimate right now it's maybe at about 10 feet. I can actually go as high as 20 feet. I don't think I've ever extended it that far because it gets real wobbly. And then the other thing is that power lines are a real freaking issue. And I have snagged one power line once. I don't know if it's a power line, it could have been a phone line or whatever, but I have snagged a line once. And to say that I was not happy would be an understatement. And you know what we're seeing here is just this tit for tat. I'm really surprised that the fence did not come down around the shelter house. That's really what I thought was going to happen today. So what we're going to do is we'll walk over here and we're going to see what we can see, and then maybe I'm going to call it a night. Well, I can't go that way. I was trying to avoid trees. See what I mean? Trying to avoid trees. See, this is what I mean. There's an unhomed person. It's so freaking complicated. People wanna, I have no idea. Wow, I have no idea what, it's not a power line, but I have no idea what this cable here is for they just snagged up on. It's such a complicated issue, right? Everybody wants to look at things in black and white. And it's not black and white. And I don't mean black and white as in skin tone, color of people's skin. What I mean is that people don't see any grayscale. There's an unhomed person that's asleep over on the backstop by the in the baseball field I walked. I'm not going to show them out of respect and to provide them some dignity. That person almost assuredly was sleeping over by the shelter house last night. That person almost assuredly was fed last night and got breakfast this morning. And that person who's now going to basically sleep out in the open with nothing because all their stuff got thrown out today. For what reason? And so, yay, right on. And then what happens? The direct action group comes down and, you know, I always operate in plausible deniability. And the reason I was like, hey, someone hand me my helmet, I could see where they were marching. And then at that point, I'm like, okay, well, it's time to helmet up. You know, things never got spicy. And, you know, it's a tit for tat. And so when does the tit for tat end? How you doing? Right? When does the tit for tat end? When does it stop? Because if somebody doesn't blink, if sanity doesn't prevail, we're going to go to a place that nobody wants to go. And anybody who thinks they're immune to it, they're out of their minds. You're not going to be immune to it. So, nah, he was definitely kind of settling in, trying to go to sleep. As a former EMT and all, I certainly didn't go up, but definitely looked like he was just trying to settle in. You know, there's SPD going by. And I think that there's a, you know, SPD stopping. We'll just keep the camera here for the moment. There's another streamer here to my left. And again, SPD has been going after streamers in the last 48 hours, 72 hours in particular. We had a couple of people that were zinged on Wednesday, and then Christina D, I hope you don't mind using your name's real public, so if I took a liberty that you didn't like, I'm really sorry. We could talk about it tomorrow and I won't do it again. She went on the record publicly, you know, Christina D, SPD grabbed her camera and gimbal out of her hand on Wednesday, threw it on the ground and intentionally smashed and broke all of her equipment despite being identified press. So, and we have seen in other locations where independent media is really getting squeezed and silenced. And I think at the end of the day, as somebody had said earlier, I do have a fair amount of privilege, which, fair or unfair, that kind of enables me to move around. And I'd like to think that I'm using that privilege for good to bring you this story. So right now what I'm doing, the reason the camera pointed this way is I'm waiting across the street. One of the things, if you're a streamer, especially after, you know, and you witness something that basically just happened a little while ago here. Here is some advice as a streamer. You follow walking away from that situation, literally every flipping rule. You stay on the sidewalk, you don't jaywalk, you don't, because then you just make yourself a target. Ducking under some trees. I'm gonna put in a shameless plug. I don't know, can you all see this? Here, let's do this. I think I have the Rancho Bravo sign framed up real good there. Best tamales in the city of Seattle. Right here, Rancho Bravo. And then there's another place, Korean place. There's like 3 food places down here that I'm super fueled by, and this is one of them. Tamales at Rancho's Bravo are off the friggin' hook. Love the tamales here. And I lived in Texas for 8 years. I know good tamales. Camera's down just because there's a lot of tree branches and they're low. I think we're going to do one closing shot. Then I may answer some of your comments or questions. So actually, if you got questions, go ahead and queue them up. You know, this right here is the Black Lives Matter mural that was painted during CHOP. And this was painted during CHOP. And the city went ahead and has protected it. And I know that it's been had a protective coating put over, and there was some controversy when that was done. It's really complicated because there are a bunch of things that have combined together in this aggregate. And you have Black Lives Matter. You have a nation that is slipping into sectarian violence. I mean, we've kind of have had a couple of little things of sectarian violence, and if you we're in this weird amalgamation right now of 1919 and 1932 Germany without the hyperinflation in the case of 1932, where Germany just had unbelievable hyperinflation. Right, and we're like in this weird combination of these two things. And I'm not going to do a history lesson because I'm tired of like repeating myself over it. But you can kind of look up on what was going on in 1919 and go look up what was going on in 1932 for yourself, if you care. And then we have this issue of racial injustice. Put up a story today. 2 white people, 72 and 77, unload their guns on 3 black men who are literally returning a U-Haul truck. They're at the U-Haul, they're returning the U-Haul truck, and they're returning the U-Haul, and these 2 vigilantes decide, well, you know, they're gonna bang bang, they're gonna shoot them up. Now, nobody was shot, and the 2 vigilantes are now, are now in jail. Oh, well, this could be interesting. I guess what I'll do is I'm going to move to the edge here. Well, they're not interested in me or the stop sign that was there either. Hey, you know, I would say they're clearly looking for someone, and it's not me, so. I didn't do anything wrong. I held the camera. But based on, again, the way the streamers have been treated in the last, particularly 96 hours, I would say, last 4 or 5 days, I think there's a healthy degree of Hey, what's going on? All right, so I'm going to bring the camera down. I can just, I'm feeling my other phone just is, my other phone is like a sex toy in my pocket. It is just vibrating endlessly. So, you know, I'm sure people want the video and stuff. Let's see. Let me see some of your comments and questions here. And the other thing is, you may have asked a question. If I don't answer your question, it's not me. It's Facebook, it's Zuckerberg. He doesn't show, it doesn't matter what I set it to. I've had people go, well, you have it set to just relevant content. No, if I set it to all comments, I still don't see everything. Sorry. So if I skip your question, it's nothing personal. Well, Ian, I don't know if I know, like, I had my mic off. We talked to Vicky a little bit earlier. I exchanged my card, my number. She took all my information down. She actually put it in the phone. She said she's going to call. I explained to her, you know, on our relationships, and also that, hey, you can take a look. You know, we've interviewed other people with integrity. We would love to, you know, to interview her and help expand her voice. Yeah, they did live stream everything that was happening this morning. 1 second. All right, I'm gonna military run. Something's going on. Multiple police cruisers, other side of Cal Anderson Park. Lights on, sirens. There is something going on. People are yelling. There's SPDs out circling, lights and sirens, multiple cruisers all around the park. It looks just like a show of force. There are, I would estimate, about 10 cruisers at multiple locations in the park. I don't want to be running this way and that way because they're moving. The police cruisers there in the distance are moving. So I could run that and it would be pointless. I think what I'll do is move across the ball field. Yeah, here comes another cruiser. We're gonna go this way. Local affiliates are here. So they're circling the park.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
So right now what you got is maybe 10 police cruisers that are running laps around Cal Anderson Park and running their sirens. Why they're running their sirens, I don't know. They'll come back up this way because they're essentially driving laps. You can probably actually see them coming a little bit. You have an advantage. You can see them before I can because the camera's up on a pole. And so I'm seeing at eye level and the camera's seeing about twice my height up. Yeah, you can just barely see the lights that are up there. Lady in this car, I would just drive. Is that naked dude again? No, there's like, I think it did. I don't think it was naked dude, but we'll keep the camera going here. Hey, anybody on SVM, or they're just, you know, someone could just in the chat or whatever, or send a PM to the Tango. I just want to know somebody's got eyes on me because I'm literally out here by myself. Yeah, it was interesting. It's DJ Elrad Light. I'm sure that people are like, what about the noise when they're chatting? It is after 10 o'clock. Right? Why we doing all the sirens, I don't know. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm just kind of here scratching my head on what's the purpose of all this. I mean, I get what happened. I was there, I saw it. But I don't understand hey, let's blare sirens through the neighborhood after basically everybody involved is left. There are multiple SPD cruisers, but again, what they're just doing is they're driving the perimeter of Cal Anderson Park. And I think maybe this angle You might be able to see the lights in the distance, and then you'll also be able to see the police cruiser. They come down. So again, we'll just kind of continue. So for those of you just tuning in, we are live. We are in Seattle. We were at Cal Anderson Park. There was a direct action that happened a little while ago. I know you can't, it used to be you could rewind the streams. Facebook doesn't let you rewind the streams anymore. So if you didn't see it, you'll have to come back. There was a group that came in. They threw bags of trash and they kind of TP'd the Seattle East Precinct building. The East Precinct building has essentially had what they call ecology blocks in Seattle lingo. Don't shoot the messenger. They are stacked maybe 6 to 8 feet high, roughly. And then on top of that, there is a fence that is at least 6 feet high. So a group came in and threw bags of what initially appeared to me like bottles and stuff, but it wasn't. Apparently it was bags of garbage. And they threw some TP, and at first I have to admit, like when they started throwing the TP over, I had kind of started to giggle because it was like, oh man, they're you have to admit, right? They're TPing the police station. And then somebody threw, the accurate word here is an incendiary device. Somebody threw an incendiary device. At that point, a number of people in that group immediately started moving out of the area. As an observer of body language, as an observer of things that have happened, I don't think that a lot of people in that group saw that coming or knew that was coming. Again, just kind of watching body language and also just like feeling the mood and the shift in energy that happened. The group left. And then, here you go, the auto club's here, big time. That group left. I stayed because at this point, the bigger story was the fire at the East Precinct building. And the reason I'm pausing is every now and then as these police cruisers are going by, you're not seeing it. I'm getting a spotlight right in my, like right now, getting a spotlight right in my face. You're not seeing it because the pole is up much higher. And I literally have a spotlight right now right in my face. That's why I'm pausing. And they're holding the spotlight on my face.
Malcontentment Tango guys stick. Like your stream. Good night.
Well, there you go. Malcontentment Tango. Like, I didn't know that SPD didn't watch our stream in the first place. You know, we know SPD watches the streams. That's pretty hysterical. So there you go. I got a shout out from the Seattle Police Department. Where was I going with this? Somebody threw an incendiary device. Stayed up there because that's where the fire was. There were multiple announcements. Anybody in that area would be arrested if you didn't disperse. Moved about a half a block back. We had a side conversation with a couple people in the neighborhood. People in the neighborhood that do not agree with the direct action that happened, so they were tired of it, including a black woman, Vicky, who is one of the leaders and one of the, you're gonna have to forgive me. It's been a little busy tonight, and I have forgotten the name of one of those, of that individual. Name of the organization, not Vicky's name, but the name the organization's with. We went back. The people that did the direct action have essentially dissolved. They are gone. And SPD is now running laps around, the park. So there you go. That's kind of what's going on. I'm not surprised that I kind of got, you know, it wasn't like an antagonistic shout out. There was an incident up at the East Precinct building a little while ago that somebody's driving by asked me what's going on.
It's me, Vicky.
Oh, no. I don't know what they're, Vicky, I'm sorry, because they've been shining spotlight, like I just see spots right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing. I mean, this is like, I don't get it.
Because they're not around the crowd.
I know that. And see, this is what I mean. Like, this is just, you know what I mean? It's like, this is BS, and that's BS, and this is BS. And when is this going to stop? right? Because eventually, you know where this is going to lead if this doesn't stop. And how is the neighborhood appreciating this?
I know.
So this is Vicky. All I am seeing is spots because all I have had is spotlights in my face as these police cruisers go by. Look, if you look at my Twitter, and if you watch on Thursday on my feed, yeah, I've been kind of antagonistic with Mike Solon, the president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild. I've called him a gang leader. I've called his thugs. I have called the SPOG headquarters their clubhouse. And I would like to remind people that he was under criminal investigation by the Board of Elections for filing the wrong address in a district he doesn't live in for elections for 16 years. I got an update on that story, and the update I have on the story is that he went whoops and changed his address, and now, okay, it's all been swept under the rug because, you know, police are super citizens. And if you're going, well, no, it's wrong, you know, he moved or forgot. No. He had his address as the South Precinct location for his ballot, and he lives in West Seattle. So, yeah. So, kind of not surprised, got kind of this little poke. Yeah, I figured as much. I see the comments coming in. I appreciate the heads up. I think at the end of the day, they're not gonna, right, to the conversation we just had with Vicky. Vicky's the same one we were talking to earlier, who is a black woman, lives here in the neighborhood, doesn't like what's happening here. We'll be interviewing maybe later. And just like we were talking about, it's like, you know, she's like, well, what happened now? And I'm like, well, nothing's happened now. It's just, I mean, if they think they're going to flush somebody out doing this, then I'm a really bad student of human nature. This just feels like this is just going to be more antagonistic. Hey, spotlights to the face again. This just feels more antagonistic to the people that live in the neighborhood at this point. And it's kind of starting to feel like a waste of taxpayer dollars at this point. But we'll keep filming it. I'm trying to read the comments. Seriously, all I am seeing is spots. Why? If I blink really fast, I can kind of start. Your guess is as good as mine. Why are they going in circles? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. I see like and something about Biden and Trump. I seriously, I just see spots. Are they protesting? I guess they're, yeah, there you go. They're having their own protest. That one I could read. Yeah, I don't think they're really in a mood to talk right now, and I'm not going to do that for your amusement or mine. Wow, totally. Like I could just barely read spots. And the funny thing is, they're gonna, if they do another loop, they'll come back. They're all gonna spotlight me again, and like just by the time I can start to see again, I'm gonna get spotlighted again. It kind of looks like they may have stopped. It kind of looks like they may be done. You know, if they were trying to flush somebody out, they're not going to flush anybody out that way. And of course, right? If you live in the neighborhood and you didn't know what happened in the first place, you're just going to be like, what the hell are they doing? You're just going to be pissed at the police. And this is right. And I'm not doing false moral equivalency. I'm just pointing out that you have the tit for the tat, for the tit, for the tat, and it's escalating and escalating and escalating. And someone's got to blink. Because we're starting to shoot at each other. And you know who's laughing? You know who's laughing and winning at all of this by the fact that we're shooting at this? Russia, China. You know, the Taliban, they're friggin' in their caves in Afghanistan right now just going, God, if we had known all we had to do was just sit back and wait 20 years, we'd have never done that 9/11 thing. They're the ones winning. You know, this is something that I'm confused with on the political right. I thought Muslims were the big scary. I thought they were. And all of a sudden, they're not the big scary anymore. And then it became people from Latin America and South America coming across the border. They became the big scary. And now they're not the big scary anymore. And then it was socialists were the big scary. And then it was communists were the big scary. And now Marxists are the big scary. And Marxism isn't even a political system. It's a Marx was a philosopher. Marx was not a politician. And I know if you listen to the people in Black Lives Matter, they said they studied Marxism. You know what? Anybody who went to college and studied poli-sci, economics, global history, or history in, say the 1800s to the mid 1900s, guess what? They studied Marxism because that's just going to be, Marxism is a economic philosophy. I'm not an economics major. I went to college. I took economics classes, studied Marxism. See, he's a Marxist. I knew it. He read Marx's book. It's a hard read. It's a fascinating read. It's a hard read. So it's like, and then Antifa, right? It's the other thing. And there's no such thing as Antifa. And I know people are like, hey, there's this Facebook group. Look, where do I get my membership card? Who is their leader? What is their, not a self-proclaimed leader. Where is their structure? Where are their offices? Where is their charter? Where is their incorporation or 501c3 certificate? Who is financing them? Right? You can't answer any of these questions. You can't answer them with any legitimacy. Don't anybody type George Soros. That's an instant ban on this page. Anybody goes George Soros, that's anti-Semitism, because the whole George Soros trope is based in anti-Semitism. If you say George Soros, you're out. So just don't. You've been warned. Oh, for the love of God, Andy No used our stuff, used it logo and with copyright statement and all, because that's the kind of individual that he is. I love having to go home and do DCMA takedown requests and send another letter to my lawyer for the business, which cost me money, which this is expensive. Like, that's the other one. That's on the other side. Streamers are getting rich. There's one streamer that I think is probably raking in the cash right now. And that's because, they picked up about 120,000 followers, because that's when you start making streamer money. Yeah, I guess they're done doing their car parade, and oh, here's one right here. Well, don't know what that was about. Seriously, but they're running lights and sirens. All right, I'm gonna go head back over to my favorite spot. If you're just tuning in, my favorite spot is Rancho Bravo. I mean, Andy, if you're gonna steal my content, I don't know, could you at least offer to send me a check or something? Not that I would take your disgusting money, but Mr. Law and Order, and then you steal other people's IP and you don't care. And If you think you're so brave, Andy, why don't you come out here with your camera and take the video instead of stealing somebody else's work? But at least this time, got credit. So now I'll have a bunch of trolls. We'll deal with the trolls. And you just amplified our voice. So I guess at the end of the day, it's a win. All right. Let's go back. I know it was like, hey, send me your questions and I'll answer your questions. And those are probably 500 comments ago. So let me take the brain bucket off. When I was in college, I did an internship with a power utility. And when they went over like all the safety gear with me, and they explained things like what steam can do to the human body, high pressure steam, superheated high pressure steam. And you know, like if a tool's dropped from 300 feet up. Anyway, they called the hard hats we were given, they were plastic, they called them brain buckets, because the joke was somebody drops a 5-pound bolt from say elevation 234 feet, and you're standing at elevation 42 feet, and it hits you in the head. The only thing that helmet's going to be good for is to keep all the pieces of your brain roughly in the same place. All right, let's go to some of your questions. Is he really? What a dirtbag.
I was alone. ... Oh, he has.
I really don't look forward to the election, Jonathan. God, I don't have the spots. I really don't. I am deeply concerned that by mid-November we could be very deep into sectarian violence in this country. I'm a student of history in that I study a lot of history, I read a lot of history. I don't have a degree in history, but I do consider myself a student of history. And if you look at other countries that have slipped into nationalism and fascism, some of the countries that this has happened in were at one time great countries and superpowers, if you look through history. It became calcified and decayed, and then fell into something else. And then what will eventually happen, because history has shown this over and over again, is that once you're done dealing with the internal, they still have to keep an enemy. They still need, right? It's Orwellian. They still need an enemy to keep power. So once you've controlled the internal enemies, then it turns to external enemies. And the world won't put up with it. And then it gets really, really scary, because there's not too many people alive at this point that, forget experienced a nuclear explosion personally. There's only a handful of people left alive for that. There's not a lot of people alive left that have even just seen a nuclear explosion from the nuclear test done in the 50s and early 60s. And we're forgetting. And history has shown over and over and over and over and over again that when we forget shit, we make the same stupid ass mistakes. So I'm not looking forward to the election, because I think either outcome, or worse, we don't know what the outcome is going to end horribly. That's my view. Truth. Well, of course I am. I'm an old guy with great hair. And I was also wearing a brain bucket. Hey, Renee, thanks for the follow. I love it. Yeah, I'm definitely an acquired taste. I mean, again, Marx, there's no such thing. It's a philosophy. Like, I just said this. I don't like, do people not listen? I get people come in and out of the streams. Marxism is not a political system. It is a philosophy. They studied Marxism. Yeah, anybody who went to college and studied economics I don't mean got an economics degree. I mean went with like economics 101 and 102. Guess what? They studied Marxism if they went to a college that was worth spending the money to get the degree at. And they studied other philosophers and other economists. It's a philosophy. It's just cats. John, it's a good question, right? And we interviewed Vicky, and Vicky made her opinion known, and I think I made my opinion known during the feed, right? Just because I stream something doesn't mean that I support it. I've streamed SPOG rallies. I've streamed Trump rallies. I've interviewed people, you know, you just went in there. No. Oh, no. I didn't like stand on the corner. It's off, whatever. I didn't stand on the corner like, 50 feet away and go, see, I'm streaming. I went in and walked in there. And I went in and talked to people and interviewed people. And I interviewed people on the far right that you would call extremists, right? Peter Diaz of American Wolf. Go look at the Twitter. Go look at his Twitter. Even the 3%ers are like, dude, stop. All right? We don't want to know you because you are a special kind of crazy. And when the 3%ers are just like, you're too crazy for us on this whole anti-government thing, you know you're completely off the rails. I interviewed the guy. You know, so what do I say? Just because I film it doesn't mean that I agree with it. But I will repeat this again. If you're going to go and say, well, there's just a few bad apples in the police, and then you're going to say all protesters are bad, don't you see the problem? Are all protesters bad? If you go through our streams, we have had countless hours of peaceful protest. And then we have events that happen here tonight. So I get it. And I talked about it afterwards. I think that there is a very, it's a complex situation. It's not me punting this, but it's not as simple as good, bad. There was an action, there was a reaction, there was another action, there was another reaction, and both sides are escalating. Was it right for SPD to sweep a homeless camp today, take all their food, and then have a barbecue with their food in front of the homeless people? Come on, that's messed up. Was it right what happened up here as the response? That's messed up. But both sides are messed up. So does it make either okay? Does it negate one? Does it negate the other? Does it negate that they came in and pepper sprayed and beat, literally, because it was all on film, right? They pepper sprayed, beat homeless people. They arrested a streamer for doing nothing more than exercising his 1A rights. On the stream, it was live when it happened. They took the people or homeless people's stuff and threw it in garbage trucks. We saw it. Is that right? Is that okay? Of course it isn't. I mean, unless you have no empathy as a human being. Was this okay up the street here? Of course it isn't. But you see, action, reaction, escalate. Someone's got to blink. Someone's got to blink. Because if somebody doesn't blink, blood's going to spill. And it's going to take strong political leadership, bipartisan, to say, everybody friggin' stop. And we don't have that on either side. We don't. And that's why I use the hashtag on a lot of the posts, ACW, American Civil War. Well, I don't think we go Sudan just because we have more resources as a nation like that. And I don't think we necessarily go Rwanda, and I don't think we necessarily go Bosnia-Herzegovina. I do think that we're going down a path of Germany or Italy. If you study your history in Germany, Adolf was dismissed largely by the center and the left as an idiot, as a buffoon. Even the people in his immediate circle were just kind of like, holy crap, dude. Right? My father fought in World War II. He had me very, very late in his life. Scandal. My parents were in their 40s when they had me. That was scandal back then. Scandal. And they weren't married. I was a bastard. And he knows people are going to love that. Scandal. But my father fought in World War II. Patton's Third Army, arrived August 1944, battled the Bulge in the Ardennes. He was in some of the first troops, U.S. troops, into the Buchenwald death camp, liberated Buchenwald. Family lore says my father explained that they had a camera, and what they did, so they would have film for the cameras, they got a roll of motion picture film. And then in the dark, they would cut a segment off of the motion picture film and then roll it into the dark, roll it into the camera so they could take pictures. Family lore says when he came back, he had 19 pictures that were taken within Buchenwald. My grandparents took those pictures from him. The family lore was those pictures were put in a safe deposit box. When my grandfather died first, when my grandmother died, safe deposit box was opened and they weren't in there. And so what the belief is that they either burned them or threw them out. What my father had told me one time and one night when I was 13 years old, because my father never told me his war stories. And when I was 13 years old, he had some scotch and he told me all his war stories. And one night, over like 4 or 5 hours. And it's the only time he ever talked about it. And he talked about those pictures, and he says they're just more horrible than anything you would have ever seen in any documentary or any book. Anyway, the family lore is, the belief is that my grandparents threw those pictures out. I think we're headed down that path. James Madison said, to paraphrase, the tools of oppression are born in the oppression of people outside of your lands. What James Madison meant by that is the tools of oppression that a nation uses in warfare or to subjugate other people, eventually those same tools will be brought to bear and used upon their own people. And we've been seeing that progression over the last 19 years. James, that was a lot of typing just to get banned. We're doing a Q&A session, man. I'm a night owl, but I don't destroy things. I help my clients destroy their competitors. I'm wearing a mask because my wife is a trauma doctor who works in a trauma hospital, who works with COVID patients, and because my mother had COVID and spent 5 weeks and 1 day in a hospital / in a skilled nursing facility. And my mother is still in lockdown in the facility that she's in. My mother lives in California. I live in Washington. I did not expose my mother. I get regular COVID tests. Dr. and Mrs. Malcontent and I have been sleeping in separate beds since March because of COVID, for my protection. And then occasionally because when I go out, if I go into much larger groups, equally for her protection. So no, I'm not wearing a mask because my government told me to. I'm wearing a mask because I've looked at the evidence and I've looked at the information, and you know what? Dying from mass blood clots in random places in my body sounds like a really shitty way to die. Oh, I can't even imagine what the Twitch feed looks like. All right, I'll address this one. Hate America if you leave. You can't leave because our passports are worthless, because the whole world is looking at us and going, you're a bunch of plague rats, back to C disease. You're a bunch of plague rats. We don't want you in your country and your diseased butts. A US passport can get you into like 23 or 24 countries today. And like of those 23 or 24 countries, most of them are little Caribbean islands. You can go to Ecuador, but you have to quarantine for 14 days. And by the way, Ecuador's hospital system is completely collapsed because they have so much C disease there. You can go to Ireland still, 14 days. Canada doesn't want us. You could technically go to Mexico, but they basically harangue you so bad down there, you don't want to go to Mexico.
Hi, friend.
Hey, hey.
How are you?
It's Joey.
That's me. That's me.
What's up, man?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's a little interesting tonight.
Are you live?
I am live.
Okay, so I'll try to be brief. I don't want to interrupt. But
Yeah. I'm getting ready to wrap up anyway, so yeah.
Well, I got a call. I said, Joey, we're at the park. We're being surrounded. We don't understand what's going on. It seems like they're just trying to be intimidating and do laps around us just for the fuck of it. And so I came out, and that's exactly what I saw. So
I was filming that.
But somebody else said that you saw on your live stream something a little different up at the precinct. So I was wondering if you could walk me through.
Yeah, so I'll walk you through what happened. DA group, you know, they marched up. They were throwing what I presume were bags of trash up over the fence. They started literally TPing the precinct, you know, with rolls of toilet paper, right, literally. And I actually started laughing at that point.
Hot commodity these days.
Right? I started kind of laughing at that point because I'm like, this is freaking awesome. They're TPing the police station. And then someone threw an incendiary device over, set the trash on fire. By the reaction of the group, it doesn't seem like that was fully in the plan, or if it was because there was a whole, like you could just feel like the what the fuck kind of went through the group. They retreated out. They just dissolved. I kept my camera rolling up there because that was more of the story at that point. And they dissolved. Everyone's gone. As far I went back through, everybody was gone. Maybe 15 or 20 minutes later, SPD just running laps and blasting their sirens, and I had people coming up to me like, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, there's little action." They're like, "No, what's going on with this?" And I'm like, "I don't know what the hell they're doing at this point. It doesn't even make sense."
Right. In terms of level of threat from your vantage point, was it, whoa, this is going to set this building on fire? Was
No.
It, this is something.
No, this is poking the bear. This is not coming in with a 12 gauge shotgun at the bear. This is poking the bear. Metaphors, people, metaphors.
All right. Well,
Andy No stealing my stream right now.
Who?
Andy No.
Andy No. Is he? I don't know.
He's right winger who steals other people. I've had people telling me that he is literally rebroadcasting my stream right now.
Got it. Yep. Streamer stealers. I
Yeah.
came up with that name for him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I thank you for the context, and I really appreciate you being out here. You have continued to like exceed my expectations, and I'm such a nitpicky little hard, you know. So just
You could be nitpicky. I'll say it.
But I really appreciate everything you've done, and I listen to your commentary constantly, and I'm just like perpetually impressed. I'm having deja vu right now. I really am.
That's not a person screaming. That's just like a song that somebody was playing really loud in the stereo. I'm still streaming right now, so I'm just, for the people on the screen, I don't know, it's like some speed metal song or something. It's like just start.
Do y'all know what happened?
So I'm gonna read. Okay.
David, honestly,
Thanks, man.
real talk. Thank you so much.
Do you care if I'm on live right now? Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah, so
All right. So anyway, back to the questions. I don't know what's not true. See, like now there's just like a bazillion comments. Okay, let's talk about Minneapolis. See, I know people are like, what about my comment? This is where the scrolling stopped. Let's talk about Minneapolis. Who was the person that lit the first match, literally, in Minneapolis? Who was the person that went to the AutoZone store, broke all the windows, literally lit the first match? Let's think. Oh, it was a guy from an Aryan biker club. A white nationalist did it, and he's wanted. And you know what's amazing? The police haven't found him yet. Isn't that amazing that the police haven't found him yet? This is the guy that literally struck the match that started everything in Minneapolis. Minus the fact that George Floyd was street executed. He had it coming. Okay, there's this thing called the Constitution. There's the 6th Amendment and there's the 8th Amendment. Both those amendments make street executions illegal. Anyway, it was a dude, Aryan, he's wanted. But I guess he's not wanted too bad because they haven't found him yet. So how hard are they looking? Why? Because some of those who work forces are the same who burn crosses. Yeah, I just said it. Mike Solon.
You don't think it was more than that? Is that what probably just said?
That's some information that I have.
Banned on Twitch. Well, we'll have to go and see if we do that. If I'm banned, I'm banned. We can always just restart the channel or something. No, what it is, it's just, it was all the hateful comments, and they're just going to be, you didn't have the comments under control. So things got out of hand. with the comments.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to.
Are you all staying safe tonight?
Yeah, my right is right. Something happened. Actually, for the time it takes.
Well, I think it's about it here.
I'm Joey, by the way. I'm Danny. Hi, Danny.
Yeah.
Hi, Danny.
Oh, I'm not banned. It just says I'm temporarily. Yeah, I'm gonna leave here shortly.
If there's anything I can do to ever support you, okay?
Yeah, definitely. Basically, if you give you the shooting community guidelines, strike on your account, as your realty is restricted. So you know what got me? You know what got me on Twitch? You're gonna love this. It's not the comment. It was naked running dude. It was the streaking jogger. That's what got me to hit. So apparently the streaking jogger made it onto camera. We're off the air on Twitch for 3 days. I don't know, there's a way that I could appeal it. So anyway, yeah, naked dude. It's naked dude. That's friggin' awesome. I mean, look, there's an expression I use if you're gonna die on the hill. If you're gonna die on a hill, that's a good way to die on the hill. I got banned from Twitch because a naked jogger ran through in the background of my stream. That's a story to tell. I friggin' love it. All right, I think that's it, Malcontents. SPD's all done. It's pushing at 11 o'clock. I've got a 9 a.m. business meeting tomorrow. I got a shit ton of client work to do. I got to work on Dr. Mills's Malcontent's car. And I got to pay a medical bill. I got to remember to do that. And I got to pay the water bill. So I just have a shit ton to do tomorrow. So anyway, it's been an interesting night, that's for sure. This is the Malcontent. Malcontent out.